a very good morning to all of you. We definitely are very privileged enough to come here and get an opportunity to spend the time with you and learn from you. Right? We are at that juncture of life. We are now learning every day. Correct. So coming to the topic, first of all, I would like to welcome all the panelists, and there has been incredible discussions over the past few hours, and then last evening as well. And I think my job was very easy to moderate and prepare questions. So it's like a father asks the child that, "Beta, how are the questions in the paper?" That questions were damn easy. I had struggles with my answers. So now the struggle with the answers will be with these people. I am going to be the moderator with the questions, and I wish you all the best. These are all easy questions and no pass and fail. It's our experience. The first thing, in fact, come to our mind is about AI. So I'll tell you, AI is not only about artificial intelligence. It is more about academia and industry. So AI is academia and industry. So the interface, the collaboration is very important. And the topic for today is leading across boundaries, art of influencing without authority, building trust, communicating with influence, collaborating. So how the format is going to be, there's going to be one question and you can all put on your own perspective towards it with your experience and example. The first question is that when you talk about building trust, in the absence of a formal reporting structure in an organization, what actionables have you taken in your current or previous organization to rapidly establish and sustain professional trust and with the cross-functional peers? See, trust among your own team is easy, but when you talk about trust among cross-functional, so with one simple example, if you can read one by one, you all can speak. I would give 2 minutes to each one of you to speak. As the mic, sir.
Okay. So the topic that we are currently discussing, गालिब का एक शेर है कि बस के दुश्वार है हर काम का आसान होना, बस के दुश्वार है हर काम का आसान होना, यहाँ इंसान को मयस्सर नहीं इंसान होना. So all these trust, artificial intelligence, technology, everything is one side. Being a simple human being is of the top priority, and this influence without authority is actually not a management technique. It is a civilizational truth. Across Mahabharata or any epic you've read, Bible or Quran, one thing is very, very important and prominent. The greatest leaders of all the time were not those who held power. It was those who held character and conviction strongly. So I always believe in that. And the biggest example, why would I take any other example, we are just few kilometers away from Jagannath Puri, the Supreme Lord. And he is the best example. Krishna is the best example of influence without authority. In Mahabharata, he never picked up Ashtra, right? He never had any authority over the army. He never fought for any throne. Yet the war did not move even an inch without his guidance. So Jai Shri Krishna. And that is the supreme principle of influence without authority, I would say.
So yeah, Anil sir, over to you. Building trust among cross-functional. Example. आपके अंगूठे के नीचे.
Good morning, everybody. अरुण, आपने बहुत अच्छा कहा कि AI is academia and industry. I represent IA. I spent 30 years in the industry before moving into academia. So I have an experience of both the sides of the table. And let me share with you, I've been through these kind of situations very early in life. Brings me back to 1995. I was heading a production unit in a semiconductor firm. And there was a supply chain, there was a storekeeper, there was a marketing guy, and all were my peers. And I was kind of in the center of everybody, because there would be an order from the marketing guy, you want to produce this, I would have to do whatever is required. I would make mistakes. Naturally, when you in semiconductors, when you start to produce something, you end up producing many more than what was targeted. Now, in one of those processes, one fine day, I ran out of printing ink, a small, innocuous item such as printing ink. And I sent my worker to the storekeeper and asked him, well, get the printing ink. So Mr. Storekeeper turned away the fellow, saying that Mr. Bajpai is not authorized to sign this requisition slip. At that age, I was 28, 29, something like that. I said, what nonsense is this? And I asked, the gentleman's name was Bhandari. So I called Bhandari and I said, hey Bhandari, why on earth did you refuse this? He said, sir, आपका authorization नहीं है. तो मैंने कहा, पिछले 6 महीने से कैसे कर रहा है? कहते वो मेत्रा साहब से करा लेता था मैं, अब आज मेत्रा साहब नहीं है. मैंने कहा ऐसा है, या तो इंक दे दो या मैं फैक्ट्री बंद कर दूं. अब वो डर गया. सो ही गेव मी द इंक एंड देन आई वेंट टू द चेयरमैन एंड आई सेड, सर ये क्या तमाशा है, आप मुझे ऑथराइजेशन देते नहीं हो और मुझे ये काम करना पड़ रहा है. एंड दैट वाज द बिगेस्ट लेसन ऑफ माई लाइफ. यू नो व्हाट द चेयरमैन सेड, यही तो देखना था, how do you manage without proper authorization? And that was the learning. तो जो साम दाम दंड भेद कहा गया है, ये हमारे शास्त्रों में ऐसे ही नहीं कहा गया है, इनका बहुत अर्थ होता है. और हमारा जो ऐसा देश है जो बिना लीडर के कभी चलता ही नहीं है. We have had so many examples where we just cannot have a leaderless society. Our peer have to be coaxed. They are not easily governed or influenced. तो influence करने के लिए हथकंडे अपनाने पड़ते हैं. And trust begets trust. If you think for the other person, you think that it's what's in it for me की जगह what's in it for you एक बार कर लिया, then you win the trust. That's all it requires.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Sumit, first let me tell all of you, you have to see that you are standing at a signal, and if that signal is for 2 minutes, how do you feel? So these people are also standing at the signal and then they are waiting for that 2 minutes. I have multiple questions. The maximum we cover is going to be good for all of us. So quickly, 2 minutes to 3 minutes.
I got your signal.
Building trust, cross-functional.
I got your signal very well. I'll keep it very short. See, building trust is where you win 50% of the battle. The problem with us is we love giving solutions. We start jumping to solutions. Whenever we join any organization, I will fix this. मैं ठीक कर दूँगा. But that's not how you build trust. That is where you are reinventing the wheel. The first thing you'll have to do is you'll have to ask people, what do they want? I'll give a very clear example. When I joined Razorpay, right? And that is the problem which all of you will face when you change organizations. How do I win trust of the new people, right? So when I joined in, I went to the leaders and asked, okay, tell me what is the problem you are facing in hiring? I'm not here to reinvent everything. The moment I asked them, that is where the trust building began. Which means they said the person is ready to listen to us and not coming up with his own experience, what I did in Flipkart, KPMG, blah, blah, blah. That is where you build trust. I think that is where the battle starts and you win 50% of it. I hope I kept it in 2 minutes.
It was
so
wonderful.
That was my example.
Very right. Thanks. Over to you. Yeah, it was a good thought. Please. Cross-functional, building trust. So in our organizations, what we do is that we are, collaborating with a lot of other team members in different departments. But how do they look up to you as a trust partner and start following you, understanding you, and taking the task as an accountability is what is need to be, spoken as an example. So
No, thank you so much. I'm just going to continue what Sumit said. So when you're working with people in cross teams, in metrics to organizations, you don't reach out to them on what your problem is when the problem is there. It's largely a journey you cover when things are going fine. That's one. At Microsoft, we have a concept called Business Forward, which is like how are you sharing the larger goal and how are you aligning to it as different teams. So I think that comes in everything that we do. How are you connecting your goal to the person who's next to you and might not be running in the same direction, but if you're aligning yourself to the person next to you and the person next to you and then stitching the goal together, then you have a connection and you have a shared purpose. And once that shared purpose is established, you ought to pass that baton and take it back in and out, in which you build the trust.
Right, rightful. Thank you. Yes. Over to you, Archana.
Thank you everybody for this opportunity. Arun, the way I look at it is two things, okay? First of all, trust is not something which is soft anymore. It is a hard a delivery accelerator. And one of the things that, and you refer to it, Sonia, we are all working in matrix organization. I run a multi-million-dollar AI initiative, transformation initiative as the chief product owner. So I'm responsible for the spend, the schedule, timing and the solution. Do I have the responsibility? But do I have the authority to take decisions? No, I don't. Because I have to get a buy-in from operations, technology, AI, legal, responsible AI. Now, when you're working with multiple stakeholders, the first and the foremost thing is that you have to have an aligned autonomy. You have to be aligned on the outcome that you're working on. And once that is established, that is where kind of trust starts. And trust, and we spoke about it yesterday, right? It's all about psychological safety. Yes. It is about the fact that, am I feeling safe where I can make an innovative decision, take a risk, right? Make a mistake and know that I would still not be, I would be appreciated because I'm aligned to the end goal that we're kind of looking for. So that's something which is very, very important. So in a cross-functional thing, psychological safety and alignment is something that I would say. Otherwise, everybody will be having what is called as watermelon reporting. I don't know if anybody knows what's watermelon reporting. Has anybody heard? Okay, what is special about watermelon? It is green from outside and bleeding from within. Right? And Dr. Vajpayee, we spoke about it yesterday, right? We spoke about it. If people are not feeling safe, you will get that. You will never get the true picture.
Correct.
Yeah? Thank you.
So in 1 minute, it's a great perspective which you all are sharing. You talked about Shri Krishna, how Shri Krishna, it's basically teaching. It's a way, cross-functional. I'll give you a live example. In our organization, what we do, there is this RFP, and when we go to the client, it is the responsibility of the sales team to pitch in and convert that sale into a business. So in our organization, the sales team doesn't only alone goes. They go with the procurement team. They go with the HR, and they go with the business team as well. The business means the people who are sales. There is this business who is managing the business. There's this HR. There is this procurement. All of together collaborate and go and talk to the client. So when they are on the table, they are able to share the experience. So the CHRO shares the people experience and the culture. The sales guy talks about sales. The business perspective talks about what are the ways of dealing with the people who are there in the business. So when this collaborative approach, which is a cross-functional approach, there the trust is built, and when the business comes back to us, it's a win-win situation. And clients appreciate that, look, the cross-functional team has come and is sitting on the table, and they're not waiting for more we call it that, there's a word which we call it authentication. It's there on the table itself. So that's the cross-functional power of the cross-functional team probably. Okay, thank you. I come to the next question. It talks about communication with influence. So when you are dealing in a team, when you are running a team, you have the influence, you have the power, you have the communication abilities to pass on that message, either directive or indirectly. But when you are doing it with the different teams, how do you forward without direct powers? How do you communicate to people, and how do you influence them without powers when you are dealing with different teams? So what is that 1 or 2 point which you think that should be embodied, and then you go forward and are able to make yourself successful?
So that's very relevant, at least for students sitting here. Most of them possibly are preparing for their final placement, or some of them preparing for internship, and they would always have this self-doubt, yeah, 3 महीने के internship में मैं क्या ही कर लूँगा? What, I mean, people are talking about authority, influence, trust and all, and I have only 3 months to show all of that, which is too less. I give you an example. Almost 15 years back, I was leading campus recruitment for one of the regions in an IT organization, and we had this cohort of recruiting hundreds of interns for all these departments, for business, for delivery, for finance, for HR, all departments. And we brought 3 interns for our own department for talent acquisition. And the project was basically, at that time, ATS and all was very new, end-to-end recruitment, end-to-end ATS is being implemented, CV being sourced, putting in the ATS, and entire evaluation will happen, and finally candidate will get the offer. All that we were in the implementation stage. So while obviously project management is on one side, these 3 interns were put into the task of the ATS which we were trying to implement. Just sit through the ATS and keep understanding where are the lags, where are the problems, where the technology is not moving, what is happening. So I mean, those days there was a bay, so I used to sit on this side of the bay, which they could not possibly see, and these 3 interns were sitting on the other side of the bay, and they were just talking. So what was happening is the CV was going into the ATS, but search was not working. So for a recruiter, for an evaluator, the applications of all the CVs were going into the ATS, but there was no way of putting the keyword and finding which is the best CV. Okay, so these 3 interns were sitting just across my bay, and they were talking. So there was this girl who identified the problem. She identified 2-3 days back only, and they were just discussing among themselves, saying, अच्छा ये जो है ना, ये ATS तो इतना बड़ा काम है, ये इतने पैसे लग रहे हैं इसमें, बट पता है इसमें ना CV जाता है और कीवर्ड नहीं काम करता इस पे. And the other 2 interns were saying, छोड़ना, अपने को क्या है, 3 महीने का तो इंटर्न है, उसमें क्या ही, हमको थोड़ी ना परमानेंट करने वाले हैं ये. And the lady said, whether I'm getting permanent or not, that's a separate thing. I have been asked to work on this ATS, which is the most important thing of my life currently. And she was obviously just a 3-month intern. Now the point is, the choice that you make at a right time. We keep saying, ना अपना time आएगा, but जब time आएगा तो हम क्या करेंगे ये कोई नहीं बताता. And that's your personal choice. है ना, यहाँ पे कई स्टूडेंट ब्लेजर में हैं, कई टी-शर्ट में भी हैं. ऐसा नहीं है ब्लेजर पहनना कोई स्किल है. ब्लेजर पहनना एक चॉइस था, सुबह सुबह उन लोगों ने ब्लेजर पहना है. सो दैट्स द चॉइस which we make in our life, how to communicate. Now this girl made a choice that be right or wrong, and this girl spoke to me, and I was just a senior executive at that point of time, and obviously I was leading the project management also. Okay. So she said, sir ये ATS काम नहीं कर रहा है, ऐसे. I said, boss, अभी इतना पैसा लग गया है इसमें, अभी छोड़ो ना, तुम जाके ना GM वगैरह को मत बोलना, आप अपने में.
So I got a point. You're talking about a communication with an influence, not from a senior level, but from any part of the hierarchy.
Any part of
okay,
your
right,
system.
Great. I'll come to you, Anil sir. What do you think? Let's have, because we are left with 10 more minutes, we have 2 more questions. So communicating with influence where you do not have a direct power. One example.
You do not have direct power. let me add an example to give light to both the questions about communication and
But
this
1 minute, 1 minute. You'll cover in 1 minute, na? Thank you.
One problem will solve all, right? Now, what's the example? An example is something which one of your colleagues, Dr. Shraddha, was part of. I happened to join a neighboring institution here called KIT School of Management about 12 years ago. And I realized within a few days that the faculty was not talking to each other. And I didn't know what to do. They weren't talking to each other, and if faculty don't talk to each other, you know what happens. And faculty, believe me, and I will take Abhay Dan from everybody here, but faculty is the most difficult entity to manage in any institution. So I did one thing. I observed for a week or so, and I found that the chai wala was serving chai on everybody's table, which is what happens everywhere. तो मैंने क्या किया? I banned that chai, and I made a table in the middle of a corridor, which was absolutely makeshift, and I called it Chai Pe Charcha. And believe me, this was before Modi ji's Chai Pe Charcha. This was in January of 2014 when Modi ji wasn't even there.
Chai pe charcha and bringing. So it's called, I will not call the other name, Chai and which is running outside the campuses. So it's definitely, communicating with influence. These are the corridor conversations which most of the time help you in decision making. Yeah. So over to you.
So these are the things which do both the things. You can communicate and you can without authority also.
Over to you, and in a minute.
I get your message every time. See, one of the use case which all of us will never have authority is the finance team, right? Where we'll have to communicate without authority. One of the learning which I have had is when you go to finance, talk in their language. Don't give them your gyan, right? If I tell my finance team I will improve the quality of hire metrics, they'll not understand. You tell them, if you let me hire 20 people, the productivity and the revenue of the organization will go up by X. That is how you communicate. As simple, when in Rome, be Roman. You have to improvise with every team you are talking. So that would be my example. I hope I'm keeping in time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Over to you.
I love the finance contact that you are talking about, and I would love to go back to that person. I think largely, Arun, it has also been, most of the times we in various teams work from point A to B.
Correct.
And with the guideline that we have, I think it is important to see which situation we are in and see which side of the line or the other line we have to be in. And that largely denotes influencing. So if you are able to think, and in talent acquisition, sometimes it has nothing to do with resents or, laws that we deal with.
Correct.
It comes to consulting. But then if you're able to partner and if you're able to understand who has to front end, how can it be maneuvered best for the end goal, I think that solves a lot of problems.
Correct. Thanks for the example.
I'll just add on to what Sumit said, right? And this is something which is done to death. What's in it for them? You have to talk their language. You have to tell them. If all of us sitting here and giving a lot of spiel, if it does not make any sense to you, you're just sitting and you're like, I don't have a choice. That's the reason why I'm here, right? So I guess aligned autonomy, which is what is the outcome that you're looking at, communicate in a way that makes sense to them, and specify the guardrails, right? You have to obviously say what are the things that are absolutely non-negotiable. You don't have to be nice about it, but you have to talk their language. If you're talking to operations, you have to talk about, what it will do for the client. If you're talking to risk, you have to talk about what are the things that you're thwarting, right? Finance, how much money is it going to make, right? So yeah, absolutely.
That's a nice perspective with guardrails, you said. But I'll come to the other question, which talks about collaborating across boundaries. So guardrails is one part of the story, and when you are collaborating across boundaries, organizations, silos and competing department priorities often hinder progress. Now, there is a question which says that would be great if you can cite an example on some work where you have created a sense of shared ownership. There is a shared purpose, but you are talking about a shared ownership among all the teams cross-functionally. And how did you create that and then completed that project, which was a great success? One example, anything in your life journey, any organization.
Again, I'll talk about the thing that I'm working and dabbling on a daily basis, right? We kind of make a big deal about collaboration. I say start co-creating. Make them owners of the solution, of the paths that we're taking. Then you are not just asking them to review, you are asking them to be a part of it.
Correct.
Right? They do not feel like outsiders who are reviewing and kind of pointing fingers. They've been a part of the solution, right? And we are aligned on what is it that we're working towards. So I think it's co-creation.
Correct. Okay.
Co-creation with ensuring that how is it positioned for them. An example is when a couple of processes moved to India from a certain geography, they were told that these jobs are going. It was that piece of work that was actually coming, owing to some market insights. So see, the positioning makes all the difference, and that's the language you use in your communication, and the perspective is shifted. So every time you speak, you position on how the capability is uplifted versus how inefficiency is being addressed. So that little word changes the whole perspective.
But is it very hard? Is it easy?
I'm sorry?
Is it very hard, tough, easy?
I think it's the intent with which you get into. It's not hard, but I think it's easily missed at times.
Okay.
And it's often considered as too small to pay attention to. We do all the larger things
Yes.
and the bigger things,
Yes.
but this fine thing just spoils the rest of
Correct.
it.
I think it is very hard, but if you follow the trust and communication we spoke about, then it becomes easy.
Yes.
Right? That is how we are following the discussion as well. See, first thing is we have to get away from blame game. Business will say HR not good, HR will say business. First thing is get away from blame game. And then when you get into a meeting, you have to start with how do we solve for this?
Correct.
Quick example, quality of hiring. Business was pouncing on me, Sumit, the quality of talent is not good. I said, I source people, but you guys interview also. So it has to be a shared this thing. So that's a trust building and all of that, and that is how you align people.
Okay. Good. Right. Right. Very nice perspective. Anil sir.
This is an extremely difficult question that you raised about collaboration. See, unfortunately, human beings were never been meant to collaborate. They were always meant to compete. It was always, fighting for the fittest. The fittest shall survive. So collaboration तो हमारे DNA में ही नहीं है. How do you counter that basic DNA and come to work together for a purpose? I have done it personally in a different manner. I used to make rules for meetings where it was, don't come to meeting with a problem if you don't have a suggestion. So everybody would come, कागज में प्रॉब्लम लिख के ले आते थे और साथ में एक आइडिया ले आते थे, मे बी अ सिली आइडिया, बट एटलीस्ट दे वर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग, एंड इन दैट मैनर दे काइंड ऑफ बिलीव कि हाँ यार वो मेरे से ज्यादा बेवकूफ है, एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू वांट टू कन्वे.
Yes. Right. Over to you.
So, obviously, this is the prime rule of any project management, of creating the shared vision and shared victory.
Correct.
So let's say I'll quote the same example when you are trying to implement a new ATS. So it's a cross-functional activity, where L&D is also there, technology is also there, finance is also involved, delivery is also involved, operations is also involved. Now, in all this entire ecosystem, how would you chain everyone and guardrail that everyone think that it's the victory for them? It's not if you call it at the start only that it's a HR project, it's going to fail. If we state it like it's our project, And if you co-creating it and keep giving the opportunity for claps and appreciation for everyone, that will create credibility, and of course that's the
Correct.
mantra of a success.
Great. So I'll cite an example. The process of the example is that if there are 5 people in a project or 7 people in a project, please make each and every person responsible and accountable. Number 1. Number 2, any answer of the project or the outcome of the project or the success of the project, any of the 7 members should be put up on the stage to talk about it. Means the equitable, responsibility for all the 7 members. There should not be one person who could be the speaker and 6 other people to be representative. No. Give responsibility and accountability to all the 7 people, and please make all of them speak on the topic of outcome, so that they are able to understand that this project is there. Sometimes what happens, we put people and there is only two of them who are responsible for it, accountable for it. Similarly, the way you are organizing all these things, just put that perspective and you will be able to see a lot of great success, and people inhibitions would be going, and they will be coming up with more accountability and responsibility. Okay. The last question is, I'll take, it's more about leading adaptability and purpose. So one line answer, adaptability is how important, and that adaptability is not only about you are adapting yourself towards the entire organizational environment, goals, objectives. How do you now as a leader are seeing and sharing that experience to the people that, look, there is a formal mandate for an adaptability and a purpose which should be driven. How do you drive it? Again, I'm talking from perspective of cross-functional, not your own function, but cross-functional. So adaptability, and that should come with a purpose, means driving the organizational business ahead. How do you do it?
So, since this is the last question, so again I'll try and bring it back to Shri Krishna only, which obviously the greatest example setter of adaptability in terms of strategy. He never talked to Bhim and Arjuna the same way. The context were different, but the truth were the same. And that's, I think, is the best example of adaptability that Shri Krishna teaches us.
इंद्रजीत ने तो अवतार ही चेंज कर दिया. इंद्रजीत राम अवतार में थे और बात कृष्ण अवतार की कर गए. खैर, यू नो इंद्रजीत इज मेघनाथ. हाँ, कुछ को लोगों को पता है. So, see, adaptability and purpose are the most difficult entities in any corporate or even social existence. How do you, and what Arun had just mentioned a little while back, got me to think, and I think I should share this. Reward and punishment should have something else with it, and that's authority and responsibility. Now, unfortunately, our structures are such that we give somebody a task, a responsibility, without assigning the proper authority, and we reward somebody without looking at the punishment side. Now, these are things, if you structure it properly, I believe the adaptability and purpose both shall get clear.
I'll keep it short. See, I think adaptability is not an option anymore. If you are not adaptable, you are irrelevant, right? Anybody can question us. We have like a lot of experience now. With AI coming in, are we resisting it? No. All of us are getting our hands dirty on Claude and whatnot. So that same principle has to be applied in all the things we are doing, right? You call it your Bani, VUCA, whatever world you are in. You have to, so we always used to say plan B. No. There are 26 alphabets in our dictionary. So you should have plan Z proactively. That is how adaptable you should be.
Very nice.
So we've covered the spiritual aspect of it, the corporate aspect of it. I don't know if it is called adaptability, but if you see sports, the format of sports has changed across Roland Garros to other fields for tennis, for cricket. I think we've changed from test to one day to 20 and so on. And the same goes for industries like e-commerce. I mean, so it largely says, I don't know if it is adaptability, it is understanding your audience right and then shifting yourself to what's the larger need and what's the opportunity. So to me, adaptability is really keeping a close eye on the opportunity and then aligning yourself to it.
So we've had mythological sports reference. I'll tell you something which is very academic. For me, adaptability and flexibility in the school, college, education is stop striving to be the smartest person. Once you strive, stop doing that, then you're actually listening to what other people are saying, right? And you're hearing and you're flexible to take that. And again, to the reference to sports, it is you are sometimes taking the ball to the goal and then giving it to somebody else to do it, right? That's being flexible, not having that thing that it has to come to me. So I think that is the thing that everybody needs to remember.
Thanks. I'll cite an example. I was here yesterday and I was telling adaptability. You do that adaptability, but when you want that adaptability to be adopted by people around, how do you do that? What did Amazon did? Amazon said that आप कोई भी चीज़ ऑनलाइन मंगाइए, अच्छा नहीं लगे तो वापस कर देना. जो अच्छा नहीं लगे वापस कर देना, ये मेंटलिटी ऐसी बैठ गई लोगों को. आई हैव द अथॉरिटी. लोगों ने कुछ भी मंगाया और अगले दिन वापस कर दिया, पहन के वापस कर दिया. Amazon सेट कोई बात नहीं है, लेट पीपल अडेप्ट टू इट. वो धीरे धीरे ऐसे होते गया. देयर आर 5 मेंबर्स इन अ फैमिली. किसी ने कुछ मंगाया और जब अगले ने बोला मुझे वापस करना है, 3 मेंबर्स ऑफ द फैमिली से नहीं काम आ जाएगा, नहीं काम आ जाएगा. एंड नाउ यू लुक एट Amazon, व्हाट द सेल्स इट इज डूइंग अक्रॉस. इट्स सिंपल. दे मेड पीपल अडॉप्ट टू द strategy which they created for the people. Similarly, Paytm, कोई भी पैसा लेके नहीं घूम रहा है, आज Paytm GPay लेके घूम रहा है. That's all adaptability. The business they are creating. Yesterday I was talking about design thinking. These are all strategies. You also have to create those strategies among your people. कि वो adaptability कैसे करें. आप लोगों को निकाल नहीं सकते हैं नौकरी से, आपको उनको adaptable बनाना है. When आपको जब adaptable बनाना है तो कुछ ना कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा. So that's it. Thank you. And that's how we come to the end of the first panel. I really want to thank all of you. I'm sorry I pushed you. You all wanted to speak more. You will be given an opportunity. Hi all students, please catch all of us. We are here today. Ask as many questions as possible to us and take the experiences which we have. And we also would like to learn from all of you how you manage both studies, these projects, and of course the overall environment of the college where it is full of pressure. Thank you so much, and we'll take part. We'll invite the next